Shalom Talmidim, Hatnuot Ha'ivrit Perek Bet, the Hebrew Vowels, Lesson 2, Long Vowels. The Masoretic vowels usually consist of dots or dashes below consonants, or in a few cases beside or above them. There are nearly a dozen individual vowel signs, and some of them are used in combination with matres lectiones. These are also called vowel letters, he, vav, and yod. Because there are so many different vowel signs to learn, it can be a bit overwhelming if we try to do it all at once. So let's do it one step at a time. In this video, let's learn the long vowels. There are 8 of them. First, let's start with qamats. If we take a beit with dagesh lene or dagesh kal in it, so a hard b, and we add the qamat sign underneath it, this is what it looks like. The qamat sign looks a little bit like a T or a dash with a teardrop falling off of it. It's pronounced as a long ah sound. So beit with qamat sounds like ba. Notice that the name of the vowel in Hebrew, which is up at the top of this picture, qamats, has 2 qamatses in it. That might help you remember the sound if you remember the name. Qamats. Ah. Sometimes it's also called qamats gadol, big qamats, to distinguish it from one of the short vowels that we will learn in another video. Now, let's have qamats-he. We take our beit, and we put qamats under it, and a he after it. This also has a long a sound, ba. It will only come at the end of a word. Do you remember I said that he at the end of the word could be used to indicate a long ah or a long a sound? That's why this only occurs at the end of a word, but it's quite common at the end of a word. Now we have hireq-yod. We start with our beit, and we add 1 dot under it and a yod after it. This is a long I. It sounds like B. Do you notice that in the name hireq, or hireq, it has 2 hireqs in it? Hireq-yod. Sometimes this is called a hireq male, or a full hireq, to distinguish it from a short I vowel that we will learn in the next video. Now, our next vowel is called tsere. We take our beit and we put 2 dots below it, side by side. This is a long a sound, so I would pronounce this be. It's also called tsere-yod, short or defective tsere, to distinguish it from the next vowel, which is tsere-yod. Beit with a tsere followed by a yod. This also is a long a sound, be. Notice that the name of the vowel tsere has 2 tsere-yods in it. Tsere. Sometimes this is also called tsere male, or full tsere, to distinguish it from tsere without a yod. Next we have holem. Take our beit and put a dot up and to the left. This is a long o sound, so it sounds like bo. It can also be called holem-waw, short or defective holem, to distinguish it from the next vowel, which is holem-waw. holem-waw. Again, beit. This time we get a vav with the holem dot above it. It's also a long O and pronounced bo. It can sometimes be called holem-male or full holem to distinguish it from holem-haser or defective holem. But I often prefer calling it holem-waw because it's easier to remember. You see the vav and the holem dot. Our last long vowel is shuruq. So we take our beit, and next to it we stick a vav with a dot in the middle. This is not a dagesh forte or dagesh chazak. This dot in the vav transforms it into the long u, shuruq. Notice how the word shuruq has two shuruqs in it. Shuruq. So, beit followed by shuruq sounds like boo. There is no difference in sound between three pairs of these long vowels with and without a mater or a vowel letter. So, qamats and qamats-he are pronounced exactly the same way. Ba and ba. Tsere and tsere-yod are pronounced exactly the same. Be and be. Similarly, holem and holem-waw are pronounced identically. Bo and bo. You see, here are 6 of the 8 long vowels that we've learned in this video. The other 2 long vowels can only be made by using matres or vowel letters. So, beit with hireq-yod is not the same thing if it doesn't have the yod. Only the one on the left is a long vowel. Similarly, beit followed by a shureq, you can't omit the vav. There's nothing for the shureq dot to fit into without the vav. So we only have hireq-yod and shuruq. So let's review all of these long vowels that we have learned today. Qamats sounds like ba. That's exactly the same as qamats-he, ba. Hireq-yod is a long I, b. Tsere is a long a sound, be, which is exactly the same to tsere-yod, be. Holem is a long o sound, which is exactly the same as holem-waw. And finally, shuruq, long u, boo.